Hi, I'm Mark LAMOS, and I'm the artistic director of this historic theater, the Westport Country Playhouse. And I'm standing on the steps to the door through which our audiences pass to get to live theater, where audiences have entered for almost 89 seasons to connect with actors and playwrights and musicians telling their stories. Next year, we'll be 90. Can you imagine? For nearly a century, this building has played an important and intrinsic role serving theater lovers in Fairfield County. But for the first time since World War II, when the Playhouse was closed for 4 seasons, we, like theaters all over the world, have been forced to close our doors due to the pandemic. So we wanted to take this opportunity of pause to hear and share some of your stories, to listen and learn about how the Playhouse has impacted your lives.
My association with the Playhouse goes back to when I was 5 years old. My mom would take me to the children's shows and I would sit there in those very cool red velvet seats. Later, as I grew up and got older, I'd go to the real shows and stand in the lobby and look at those posters on the wall, and it was wonderful.
In 1962, I was an apprentice at the Westport Country Playhouse. I got to see many plays and the goings-on backstage, and I was in what they had then called the Apprentice Showcase, where apprentices would perform one-act plays in the Playhouse for New York critics. They were all invited, and they all came, and there we were on stage performing for the incredible hierarchy of New York critics.
My husband and I have been attending productions there for almost 20 years since I was in college. Every production is unique and magical in its own way, thanks to Mark and Michael and the whole staff. And we always leave with a smile on our face and thinking about the world a little bit differently.
We come all the way from Mystic for every play and every script in hand.
That's just about half of it. We never miss Insider Insights, Tech Talk Brunch, or opening night reception. And we have stayed for R.J. Romeo's backstage talk after last Wednesday matinees for a couple of years.
Those extra events have made every one of the actual performances more rewarding than they would have been at any other theater.
I had just moved to Connecticut a few days prior, and I'd driven past the Playhouse earlier that day. And I went on the Playhouse's website, and I saw that there was a play that evening. I go running into the building and get my ticket. There's the sound of a cowbell behind me. And I remember thinking to myself, gee, this is a really colorful crowd. It turns out it was LGBTQ night. Actually, I ended up meeting some people that night that I became friends with to this day.
Over many years, we've been transported and enlightened and inspired by so many wonderful productions.
One of my favorite Westport Country Playhouse memories was definitely the talk with Lynn Nottage and Mark LAMOS that happened in late September of 2019. What I loved about this event was that there was such a clue given into what her process was like when writing Malima's tale, and that also provided not only an amazing artistic background, but an educational background as well. And for a young artist, what more can you ask for?
Science and medicine are what sustain life, but the arts are what we want to live for.
The glue of society, the oxygen that feeds society, is the arts and culture and theater.
The Playhouse is just a very, very special place, and we hope that it's around for 90 more years.
We miss each and every one of you, and I hope you are safe and well and continuing to take all the precautions to keep yourself and your loved ones and our community healthy. I also want you to know that we are doing everything we can to make sure we'll be here for you in a year. After this springtime, during which our nation has experienced anger, mourning, grief, fear, learning, maybe some glimmers of hope, and being jolted into self-examination on systemic racism, we need to look to and embrace artists to enrich, activate, and enliven our community through what they do best, from the familiar to the new. We want the Playhouse to continue being a platform for theatrical storytelling, especially for those stories that wake us up to see our own experiences in new ways, and those stories that have been ignored or have yet to be told. We believe it is essential for our hearts, our souls, and our shared future on this earth. If you have the means to help us do this by making a gift to our survival fund, I would be forever grateful. And I can't wait to see you again on the other side of these doors, on our stage, on your stage.